My wife and I have always been open about our finances to her family, so her stepdad bought her a course for Christmas to bring in more money. He's well off, and we believe this was his way of helping. My wife did not ask for this. We decided to start our journey to have a baby, and we had open discussions with them about the financial implications of this procedure for us being lesbians. A few months later, we had saved up for our donor and looked at profiles. Around the same time, they had a big fight, and mother-in-law moved in with us. After a few days, she realized that she had to go back to him because, in her words, she cannot have the lifestyle she wants without him. We supported her decision as it was her decision. A week later, they decided to move house. Just before they found another house, she called me. She asked if the two of them and their 4 dogs could move in with us for a month. They won't be able to really contribute. They would be using this period to save up for moving expenses. I told her I would chat with her daughter first. Her mom was aggressive with me over the phone and implied that we had no choice, as they had done so much for us in the past. When my wife heard what her mother asked, she was upset and called her. The conversation went bad, and it came out that they had been keeping records of everything they've done for us and have given us. He was expecting us to pay that course back. We had half the money saved up, so because we don't ever want to owe anyone, we paid that money over to them. This broke our hearts because it meant we were back at square one with saving for a baby. What happened after this was almost worse. Her mom would come over and speak about how she was going to decorate the nursery, etc. We hadn't even seen them since they moved. We used to spend every weekend doing something together, and we would be chatting over the phone. When we do call, she walks out of the room when he comes in. We heard from my wife's sister that her mom told her we had manipulated them by saying this money was for our donor, while we were still just being honest. I don't want contact anymore. Am I the idiot? Edit. He paid for a certification so that she could have a side hustle. The course was about being able to do beauty treatments on the side. It would never have been a main career, but it might have opened some doors for extra pocket money. We were well prepared to pay for our own IVF treatment. We really don't ever want to ask for money or take money from someone else. No matter how well off they are, your money's your money. OP, why on earth did you repay this? According to OP, your wife did not request this. There's a law that says if unsolicited merchandise shows up on your doorstep, you are not obligated to either pay for it or ship it back. That's exactly what the course was, per your description. If they gave you a record of what they've given you that they expect to have repaid, cross that course off the list. Holy cow, her family's bad. They're so well off, and your mother-in-law was talking about how she needs to be with the father-in-law to maintain the lifestyle she wants, that they needed to live with you for a month before moving houses and would be using this period to save up for moving expenses. I don't think they're as well off as they make out to be, or your concept of well off differs sharply from mine. It sounded like the in-laws ran into serious money trouble. They suddenly needed to move, needed a place to stay, started calling in owed debts, etc. I wonder if they were flush and then either lost income or assets and now need the funds. Well off to me means being able to pay bills and have a savings account without monthly stress. A girl can dream. Not the idiot, but it's time to cut off your in-laws completely. No more contact. They can do whatever they want away from the both of you. Do you really want your child to be held accountable for any gift they make? Let them enjoy the money and stay away from these toxic people. I am 26. I'm getting married at the end of the year. When I was a kid, my dad divorced my mom and she was a stay-at-home mom then. In short, he felt like she was lazy and spending all his money. At the time, I didn't see it and was quite angry with him. He had us for weekends and the rest was mom. She had to find a job and work long shifts. That would be fine if she didn't forget about us. She would get home and not help us with homework or anything. My job was to clean everything and keep my younger brother in line. It sucked. When I was a teenager, I moved in with my dad and my life improved. Funny enough, since I went full-time with dad and my brother soon joined, so she had to pay child support, she was angry about that and stopped talking to us. Anyway, my invitations for my wedding went out. One went to my aunt, and I believe she mentioned it to my mother. I got a call asking about her invite. I told her she wasn't invited, and this started an argument. I told her she was a pathetic parent, and she called me heartless. But she didn't take care of us. She paid the bills but did nothing else. I had to go buy groceries with Dad's money starting when I was 10, so we could have a hot meal that wasn't junk. He also went back for custody and got awarded an extra day. But overall, I wasn't allowed to leave until I was old enough to force it with the court. Am I the idiot for telling my mother she was a pathetic parent? You are the idiot. I don't think people realize how hard it is for moms to go from being a stay-at-home mom to having to work right away with little to no job experience for simple jobs. Don't get me wrong, your mom could have been better, but everyone's different at pulling themselves up from situations and handling them. Your dad had you only on weekends, which might have been why mom was so tired. You said dad divorced mom because she was lazy, but it seems as a stay-at-home mom, she did care for you. Not speaking with you when she lost custody is unconscionable, but I wonder if you're being too hard on mom and too soft on dad. Very likely, everyone's the idiot here. The amount of disgusting people attacking OP and the dad here is crazy. This woman clearly parentified her kid beyond all possible reason. She clearly cut all contact with her children because she was mad about paying support. Yet all of you endlessly defend her. Not all stay-at-home moms are good people. Just stop. All of you are pathetic for defending her. OP has plenty of reasons to cut contact. We have plenty of proof that she was horrible. Quit using some assumed bias to justify gaslighting this nonsense any further. Not the idiot. If I were in your shoes, I wouldn't invite her either. My wife, 30, and I, male 33, have been married for 6 years. I have a good career, but since day one, I told my wife that I didn't want a housewife. I wanted a woman who works and will be an equal contributor. She doesn't have to contribute the same monetarily, just same effort. We have a son together who's 5 years old now. My wife works as a waitress and she doesn't make much, but it doesn't matter because, as I said, I make enough to provide a comfortable life. My wife complains a lot about her job, and I fully get that and always support her in finding a new one or even starting an education to get a better one. What I don't support is her insinuating that she was ready to be a stay-at-home mom. Well, I am not ready to have an able-bodied adult to support a child. When she quit her job, I told her that she should find a new job or we could go our separate ways. She got scared and got another waiting job. Our son is well taken care of. I work mostly from home, and he's been very happy in his daycare and preschool, making lots of friends. We do the chores evenly, and I do all the cooking because it's a good escape from my computer job while it's boring to my wife, who works with food all day. Her sister and husband, 35 and 45, are in an opposite situation. Her husband owns his own company, and he's been begging his wife to quit working and stay with the children. She adamantly refuses, and it has been a subject of contention in their relationship. Her husband thinks that he makes more than enough, and the wife loves her career. My wife has made it a habit of making comments about how she should have married the brother-in-law instead, and I married the sister. I made it clear that it wasn't funny, especially when it was in the company of her sister and her husband. She complains that it's unfair, that she wants to be the stay-at-home mom but isn't allowed. Last time on Saturday, we were invited to dinner with the sister and her husband. That's when my wife started complaining about her new job, and her sister and her husband were very sympathetic. Then she said, "We should just swap spouses here. This is so unfair that I'm stuck, and my sister doesn't even know how lucky she is." I was very angry and said, "Well, only an idiot would let your sister go." Everyone chuckled but my wife, and the husband said, "Yeah, I would be a moron to let a woman like this go," and kissed his wife. My wife became very silent afterward, and she hasn't spoken to me since. I think I hurt her, and honestly, I think I'm done because I'm exhausted. Am I the idiot for saying that brother-in-law isn't stupid enough to swap his wife? Not the idiot. Your wife was being manipulative. You shut that crap down. Let her pout. Then tell her, you will absolutely not tolerate manipulative behavior going forward. Or be done now. Either way, her behavior needs to be in the past. Buddy, this relationship is over. You could try counseling, but you're literally competing to hurt each other's feelings. This is not healthy. You clearly aren't happy here and don't respect your wife. That's not a marriage. That's a prison. Sort it out or move on. Stop trying to force a square into a round shape. I think everyone's the idiot here. OP is also naive. I doubt there weren't any red flags before the marriage. He jumped in, had a baby with her. Was it planned or an accident? I wonder. And even now, he wonders if he's an idiot. But it's clear as day that he's being treated as a meal ticket by his wife, who made it her life mission to be a stay-at-home mom, when he doesn't want a partner like that. I got married a couple of weeks ago and returned from my honeymoon this weekend. For the most part, everything went well. We had about 150 people there, including everyone we actually wanted to attend. The one kind of hiccup was the bartender situation. Our parents are lower class, and although they pitched in what they could together, it was about 10% of the total wedding budget. We are very grateful for the help we got, but we paid for almost all of it. For the bartenders, we had a venue that allowed us to rent and provide our own booze, wine, and beer. We used a service a coworker recommended where we were able to hire 2 bartenders for $30 an hour. We also told them that we would tip them at the end of the night, so there was no need to have a tip jar. I've never been a fan of those at weddings. My wife and I were so busy that other than the champagne toast, we didn't really drink at the wedding or have a chance to go up to the bar during the event. But at the end of the night, as it was closing, I went to thank the bartenders for the job well done and was going to give them each $150 in cash. That was until I saw that, contrary to our wishes, they had a sign posted with a QR code for their Venmo and PayPal so our guests could tip. This really irked me, as I specifically told them we would tip so our guests wouldn't have to. One bartender even pointed out that they agreed not to have a tip jar, but this was different. I didn't want to cause a scene, and what was done, so I just let it go, but I didn't give them the tip I had planned. Today I'm at work, and the coworker who recommended the company asked me if something went wrong, because the owner, who he knows, said there was some drama, and we didn't tip. I told him why we didn't tip, and he said while he gets the annoyance, we still should have, since there's no way to know how much our guests tipped. It was a long night, and they were very busy. My coworkers all seem split on this. I have the company's contact info so I could easily reach out to add a tip if it turns out I'm wrong, but to be honest, I don't think I am. Edit. This is in Midwestern U.S. if that matters. When speaking with the owner about rates, I told him I would be planning a cash tip at the end of the night, so a condition of going with them was no soliciting tips or tip jars. He told me that was fine. I told the bartenders when they got there as well, and they said they had heard from the boss already and were all good. I didn't specifically say no tipping signs or QR codes, but I never thought that wouldn't be understood. You don't owe them a dime. I'm furious for you. It's one or the other. Get a tip from the host at the end of the night or solicit tips from guests. Full disclosure, I'm very much anti-tip jars at weddings, and I say this as a former bartender. Guests shouldn't have to pay for a thing at a wedding. This includes tips. However, some couples are okay with their guests paying for things at the wedding and are letting the bartenders have a tip jar. Okay, fine. But you explicitly told the bartenders not to have a tip jar out. That includes Venmo. It wasn't a miscommunication. It was a sneaky little miscalculation on their part and their little game of semantics, but it's not a jar. Just cost them $150 each. Live it. Just live it. Something similar happened at my wedding by a bartender I knew personally, and I'm not ashamed to say that she did not receive the $300 I initially planned to give her. You're right. This is the tackiest thing I've ever heard. Tipping culture is getting out of control. Do not tip them. Just assume that they made enough tips already. They didn't comply with your wishes, and you shouldn't even be worried about what your friend is saying. People should learn how to be professional. My wife's birthday was on Sunday. On Saturday evening, I planned a birthday party for her at a nice B&B and invited our friends and family. She had a good time and thanked me for planning a wonderful party. On Sunday, I gifted her jewelry and arranged a cake for her, and I thought that was that. I was also tired from staying up that night. I had a client project due this week and was working when my wife was sleeping, so I plan to nap on Sunday to make up for how much I worked to squeeze in the birthday plans. However, after we had brunch with the birthday cake and all, around 1 p.m., my wife asked me to give her foot rubs and kiss her neck as her real birthday gift. I said, "I'm sorry, honey, not today. I need to sleep." She got upset about this and said I'd never do what she wants for her, and thought that at least on her own birthday I wouldn't decline. She argued with me and offered to do it either way, but she said she was too upset about it now. I said I felt like she didn't appreciate how much I do for her and hoped to see an improved attitude from her next time. I was just too jaded from that interaction, so I took a hot shower and prepared to sleep in. When I came from the bathroom after a shower, she was fuming and said she expected me to make it up to her for spoiling her birthday and giving her a lecture. I just waved my hand, told her to deal with it, and said I was giving her space until she felt better about this and calmed down, then took a nap. After I woke up after 4 hours, I could see her eyes were swollen. She had probably cried on the couch this whole time, and I felt bad about dismissing her like that. I apologized for being blunt and making her feel bad today. However, I still wanted us to address that I didn't feel supported and what we could do to understand each other better. However, she doesn't want to talk to me anymore. It's been a few days and she's still short with me. I don't think it was that big of a deal, and it's a weird hill to die on, to the point you won't even talk to your spouse properly, who plans a party for you and gifted you jewelry that she wanted. She's only looking at things I don't do rather than giving me credit and appreciation for what I do for her. It's really been putting me off from her. Edit. She wanted the birthday party. She explicitly asked me to plan it for her. I looked at everything from B&B to catering and the guest list, and she wanted me to plan it for her. She wanted the jewelry too. She had expressed it months ago that she loved a particular necklace we didn't buy then, and was overjoyed when I gifted it to her. The only gift I didn't give her was foot rubs and intimacy, because I was physically exhausted and thought the person I married would understand. You are the idiot. Dude, you told her not today at 1 p.m.? What the heck? How long was your nap supposed to be? You gave her material things, but you didn't give her any affection. There was a much better way to go about this whole thing. I just thought I'd give you a heads up. You know exactly what you're not providing, and those are emotional and physical voids that you cannot fill with money. Did you two get married on purpose? Did you really tell her you hope to see an improved attitude next time? Yikes. Are you her dad? Her teacher? If a man said that to me, I'd be, no way, for a month. What a disgusting, infuriating thing to say to anyone, let alone your wife. He got her a proper self-righteous gift. Also, I spent my energy on the party, it's not true. OP spent his energy on the client staying up all night for work. I mean, my 2 cents. The dude is clearly overworking himself. She wanted a party, got one, and had a good time. What sort of effort does she put into his birthday? Other occasions? It seems suspicious that she claims OP never does the things she wants. Yet OP threw the party and got the jewelry she explicitly asked for and wanted. If she's exaggerating or dismissive about this, what else is she exaggerating or dismissive about? Both parents should be giving and taking in the relationship.